Introduction to homemade nut butters. Making homemade nut butters in your blender is a simple and rewarding process that allows you to enjoy fresh, preservative-free spreads. Whether you prefer almond, peanut, or cashew butter, you can customize your blend to suit your taste and dietary preferences. Here's a step-by-step guide to help you create delicious homemade nut butters. Choose your nuts. Start by selecting the type of nuts you want to use. Almonds, peanuts, and cashews are popular choices, but you can experiment with others like hazelnuts, walnuts, or pecans. You can also mix different nuts for a unique flavor. Opt for raw, unsalted nuts for the healthiest option, as you can control the added ingredients. Roast the nuts, optional. Roasting the nuts enhances their flavor and makes them easier to blend. Spread the nuts evenly on a baking sheet and roast them in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 175 degrees Celsius, for about 10 to 15 minutes, stirring occasionally to prevent burning. Let the nuts cool slightly before blending. Prepare your blender. Use a high-powered blender for the best results. Ensure the blender is clean and dry before adding the nuts. Depending on your blender's capacity, you may need to work in batches to avoid overloading the machine. Blend the nuts. Add the roasted or raw nuts to the blender. Start blending on a low setting and gradually increase the speed. The nuts will go through various stages, from chopped to a coarse meal, and eventually into a smooth butter. Be patient, as this process can take several minutes, depending on the type of nuts and the power of your blender. Add flavorings and sweeteners, optional. Once the nuts have reached a creamy consistency, you can customize your nut butter with flavorings or sweeteners. Add a pinch of salt, a drizzle of honey or maple syrup, or a sprinkle of cinnamon to taste. If you prefer a smoother consistency, you can add a small amount of oil, such as coconut or peanut oil, to the blend.
Blend until smooth.
Continue blending until the nut butter reaches your desired consistency. Scrape down the sides of the blender as needed to ensure all the nuts are incorporated. If the mixture seems too thick, add a bit more oil or a splash of water to help it along.
Store your nut butter.
Once the nut butter is smooth and creamy, transfer it to an airtight container, such as a glass jar. Homemade nut butters can be stored at room temperature for up to a week or refrigerated for up to a month. Stir the butter before each use, as natural oils may separate over time. Experiment with combinations. Feel free to get creative with your nut butter by adding other ingredients. Try mixing in cocoa powder for a chocolatey spread, or adding dried fruits like cranberries or raisins for a sweet twist. You can also experiment with different nut combinations to create unique flavors. Enjoy your homemade nut butter. Homemade nut butters are versatile and can be used in various ways. Spread them on toast, mix them into smoothies, or use them as a dip for fruits and vegetables. They can also be incorporated into baking recipes or used as a base for sauces and dressings.
Conclusion.
Making homemade nut butters in your blender is a fun and easy way to enjoy fresh, customizable spreads. By choosing your favorite nuts, blending them to the perfect consistency, and adding your preferred flavorings, you can create a delicious and healthy alternative to store-bought options. Enjoy the rich, natural taste of your homemade nut butter on a variety of foods, and experiment with different combinations to find your perfect blend.